Good morning, everyone. My name is Brett Wood, and I'm the CEO of Toyota Material Handling North America. But more importantly, I have the great honor to serve as president of MHI. And MHI is the sponsor of MODEX. So welcome to MODEX 2018, the largest supply chain expo in North and South America. We're really excited to have all of you here, and we hope over the next 4 days you plan to take advantage of all that MODEX has to offer, which includes more than 900 exhibits this year with the world's leading material handling, transportation, and logistics solution providers. They'll all be on hand to showcase their most innovative equipment and systems. MODEX also offers this year over 100 additional educational seminars during the next 4 days. And MODEX has truly become an international event with manufacturing and supply chain professionals attending from over 110 different countries this year. And finally, this year's event offers some fantastic keynote speeches. And this morning's keynote is on anticipating tomorrow's supply chain challenges today, and features the real-world experiences and success stories from logistics leader UPS. And today's keynote is sponsored by the Georgia Logistics Summit. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Matt Markham. Matt is the director of the Center of Innovation for Logistics at the Georgia Department of Economic Development, and he will introduce Juan Perez of UPS and welcome you on behalf of the Georgia Logistics Summit. Please offer a warm welcome to Matt Markham. Matt.
Thank you, Brett. Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Georgia for MODEX, as well as for the Georgia Logistics Summit. The Center of Innovation for Logistics is a division of Georgia's Department of Economic Development, and we work with companies all across the state, helping connect them to the resources that will enable them to compete and grow their business. Our annual Georgia Logistics Summit is the state's premier gathering for the logistics industry in Georgia, bringing together professionals and leaders from all aspects of logistics and supply chain to network, share best practices, and learn the latest trends that will impact your business. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the summit, and I can think of no better way to recognize that milestone than partnering with North and South America's largest supply chain trade show to create an experience that I'm sure you will all enjoy. Those of you in the audience this morning who have already signed up to be part of the Logistics Summit, you're definitely in for an incredible couple of days of top quality content and unmatched networking with industry leaders from across our state and beyond. If you are here from MODEX and would like to learn more about the summit, I encourage you to visit one of the registration desks located in either the B or C halls. Registration is still available, and we would love for you to join us to complement your MODEX experience with exclusive networking opportunities and the chance to learn more about the exciting things happening in Georgia from leaders at major brands such as Delta Airlines, Tory Burch, and Mercedes-Benz, just to name a few. And now I'm honored to introduce one of the leaders of another of our great Georgia partners in UPS. Juan Perez is the Chief Information and Engineering Officer for UPS and a member of the UPS Management Committee, and as such is responsible for all technology and engineering functions. He was appointed to his current role in April 2017. Juan's career has included numerous contributions that have led to greater efficiencies in operations, enhancements to customer service, and reductions in environmental impact. His career has covered assignments in operations, industrial engineering, process management, and technology in corporate, U.S., and international business units. One of the most significant impacts made within the technology field has been his work with the IT team that developed Orion, the on-road integrated optimization and navigation system that optimizes delivery routes to improve service and efficiencies. Juan has also been a driving force in UPS's evolution into advanced analytics, moving the company from descriptive analytics and a reliance on historical data to predictive analytics with customer data as the foundation. In 2013, he was recognized by Computer World as a Premier 100 IT leader. In 2015, Juan was also recognized as one of the top 100 Hispanic IT leaders by the Hispanic IT Executive Council and by the Atlanta Telecom Professionals with the 2015 Leadership Award, demonstrating UPS's leadership in technology. He has also been named as a 2016 Top Latino Leader by the Council for Latino Workplace Equity. Juan holds a bachelor's degree in Industrial and Systems Engineering and a master's in Computer and Manufacturing Engineering from the University of Southern California. Please join me in welcoming Juan Perez.
All right, good morning, everyone. It's great to be here with you today, and it's truly an honor to be in front of you talking about the UPS story and the things that we've done over the last few years to continue to innovate, to continue to change the business of logistics for a company that has been around for many, many years. In fact, last year we celebrated our 110th anniversary as a company. And as I was reflecting on what I'm going to speak about today, I was thinking about all the different things that we've had to do in all those different years to continue to remain relevant in the business that we're in. So, as I go through this presentation today, I want you to think about a few things, a little bit of homework today. The first one is that if a company like UPS, that's been around for so long, needs to continue to disrupt itself, and by the way, today more than ever before, how are you in your own companies, in your own roles? Are you disrupting yourselves? Second, how are you bringing innovation to the table continuously so that you can remain competitive in whatever business you're in? For UPS, and you'll see through the presentation today, we've had to innovate time and time again so that we can remain relevant in a space that is continuing to change. So keep those two questions in mind, because I'm going to walk you through a story, the UPS story, around innovation and how we continue to innovate to remain relevant. Now, a little bit about what I do. I have two roles at UPS. One is I'm the CIO of the company, so I have responsibility for all the IT technology, all the systems that we use to operate the company. And I'm really fortunate to work with over 5,000 IT professionals that do an amazing job taking care of our customers, our company systems and technology. Now, the second part of my job is I have responsibility for the engineering function, another 5,000 or so, amazing professionals in engineering that have responsibility for all the planning that we do at UPS to keep the company running, all our facilities, what we do in terms of automotive engineering, and many of the other things that support the UPS infrastructure. And today I'm going to share with you how we've been able to innovate in both areas. And by the way, that journey is not stopping today. That journey is continuing, and it's actually becoming more challenging across all the domains that we support to continue to innovate and remain relevant, as I said. So now, how many of you have received a package by UPS? See, that answers the question really easily. In fact, when I was sitting in the front here, I was looking at all those boxes back there, just so that you know we deliver them all. No. We'd like to ship them back, though. Anyway, you've all seen UPS. You know what UPS does. You know UPS by the friendly driver that it's making those deliveries in all the neighborhoods around the U.S. and around the world. You know UPS by those very well-known UPS, we call them package cars, those brown trucks on the road. You know also UPS by the company that moves packages, many of them every single day around the world. But UPS, today, more than ever before, has become truly a technology company. And I would make the argument that each and every one of you, no matter what company, no matter what organization you're representing today, you work in a technology company. Because the business that we're in, especially as it relates to supply chain management, it's become truly a technology-enabled business. So today, think of UPS as a technology company. And of course, it's a technology company that supports this magnitude of assets and people. We're very fortunate to have over 454,000 employees all around the world. We support businesses in over 220 countries and territories. We, of course, manage a large fleet of vehicles, 100,000 vehicles plus. I'm really happy to tell you that through technology, we're advancing advanced technologies in our vehicles today at faster rates than ever before, to the point that we now have over 9,000 alternative fuel vehicles in our fleet. And by the way, we continue to make investments in that domain. I'll share with you a few more thoughts in that space so that you can think about how in your companies you're supporting alternative fuels and sustainability. We are the 9th largest airline in the world, 500 airplanes plus. We just made some large purchases of aircraft to continue to support the demand for that type of a service, and of course to continue to support the needs of our customers. And on any given day, UPS will deliver over 19 million packages around the world. Now, the number is a bit misleading because that's what we do now, but as we approach that peak season time, that period right before Christmas, that number jumps to over 34 million packages. So I want you to think about the scale with which we need to really manage during that time of the year, and the type of engineering discipline we need to have, the type of engineering capabilities, technology capabilities, people capabilities we need to have to be able to support that type of growth in business from one week, in essence, to the next. It requires a lot of coordination and capabilities. And today, once again, thinking about all of us as being in technology companies, it requires more technology than ever before. Now, we are not just a small package delivery company. A few years back, we were a small package delivery company. And this is my first point related to transformation, related to disruption. A few years back, we realized that UPS could not only be in the small package delivery business. So we started expanding in a number of areas. And today, not only do we do small package across multiple services and products that we offer to our customers, but we also offer a number of freight forwarding, freight services across the US and the world. And we're in logistics. And that continues to expand into a number of verticals that are important for us as a company, but certainly important for our customers as they continue to rely and depend more and more on UPS to be able to provide top-notch logistics services. But look, the fact on this slide is that we've had to disrupt ourselves, going from a small package delivery company to what we do today in terms of the overall logistics space. Now, let's talk about innovation for a few minutes. And I want you to think about innovation as we go through this journey in the next few minutes in terms of how your companies innovate. The first thing that I want to point out is that there have to be innovation initiators. We have identified 3 at UPS. The first one is that enhanced mobility continues to change the way that a company like UPS does business. The second one, certainly an initiator for innovation, is you, our customers, those who provide those requirements, those needs that continue to define how UPS needs to do business, empowered consumers. And the last one, of course, can't leave the first 2 without the third one, and that is evolving technologies. So let's talk about those 3 areas in a little more detail. First, you've all heard about the 4th industrial revolution. We know that today consumers are more connected than ever before. In fact, 5 billion plus consumers around the world through mobility are having access to information and capabilities that we could only dream of just 10 years ago. UPS has been impacted by that change. And today, a lot of the work that we do in IT, a lot of the work that we do in engineering, it's actually driving us to take advantage of mobile technologies, not only to satisfy our customers' needs, but to also enhance the way that we do business within the company itself. That mobility is truly changing the way we do business. As we think about mobility, UPS has had to disrupt itself multiple times, by the way. We were very fortunate that a long time ago, we actually saw that mobility was going to change the way we did business. And the picture that you see there on the slide, still talking about mobility, is how UPS technology has evolved over the last several years. In fact, back in 1989, 1990, we introduced the very first mobile device that UPS drivers were using to deliver packages. It's the one that you see there, the large one. It looked like a clipboard. And by the way, back in 1990, I was a UPS driver. I was just right out of college. I had the opportunity to be a UPS driver. Don't hold this against me. I was a driver in Beverly Hills, California. and my postal code was 90210. And yes, I met a lot of interesting people in Beverly Hills. I had a great time. And of course, I used to weigh a lot less than what I weigh today. It was good exercise. But I used to use that device. And I'll tell you the story quickly. When I first started being a driver, I was recording all those packages on paper. Every single package had to be fully recorded. Addresses needed to be recorded on paper. Then we needed to take all that paper, make it available to the operating center, who then would send it to a place that would take all this data and key enter it into our systems, so that in case there was some research that needed to be done on a package, that information was available in our systems. Well, that was then. A little after that, I became the first driver using that big old handheld device. And look, it was clunky, it was big. It actually worked really well to keep dogs away, by the way. But it was a big device. However, it truly transformed the way we did business in the company back in 1990. No longer did we have to carry all that paper around. No longer did we have to have UPS drivers manage their time cards on paper. No longer did we have to have people key enter all this information over again so that we could provide good information to our customers. The business changed. And by the way, what we saw at that point, which again, it was part of the third industrial revolution, but now connects really nicely to the fourth industrial revolution, we saw that mobility was going to change the way we did business. And we started evolving our technology. Now what you see there, the big one is what we call DIAD 1, the Delivery Information Acquisition Device 1. First ones in the industry with that type of technology. Then we advanced to DIAD 2, DIAD 3, DIAD 4, and the small one that we use today, that's the one that the drivers have in possession today, is what we call DIAD 5. Now here's the cool thing about evolving technology and continuing to innovate, by the way. We're now working on DIAD 6. We will have that new device in 2019 in the hands of our UPS drivers, and it's going to truly transform both the driver experience as well as the customer experience, because that technology will open up so many more things and so many new things we'll be able to do for our customers that I get excited when I think about the future of mobility at UPS. Let's talk about the second one, empower consumers, which, remember again, they're the ones that are defining how we do business at UPS today. And here's what we have learned. Flexible shoppers, global consumers, they all want to be able to go from one channel to the next. And think about your own experiences. You want to be able to go to a brick and mortar store. You want to be able to buy things online. You want that experience, regardless of the channel you use, to be seamless, to be effective, to be productive. And at the end of the day, the way that I define it as a CIO thinking about customer technology is that we need to make sure that the technology is easy to use, is pleasant to use, and it's efficient to use. Critical to be able to create an effective customer experience. By the way, our customers are defining those experiences. So they want to have great customer journeys. They want to be able to go from place to place. And they want to be able to interact with UPS in ways that, we had never done before. They want to have ultimate control of their delivery experience. And by the way, notice what I said. Consumers want to have control over their delivery experience. It's no longer just worrying about the shippers, who we love to death because they are the ones that pay the bills, but it's also making sure that that receiver experience is as great and as best as can be. And at the end, here's what our customers are looking for. They're looking for convenience, they're looking for choice, they're looking for control. And I would make the argument that if I say this for UPS, I could apply this to many of the industries that are represented in this room today. Your customers are looking for convenience, they're looking for choice, and they're looking for control. And what we did to be able to support that is we created technology, what we call UPS My Choice, which actually allows our consumers, our receivers of packages, to have that convenience, that choice, and control. We provide through that technology package notifications. We connect the drivers to the consumers through that technology. And we now have, this presentation has 39 million people in 15 countries. That number now is in excess of 40 million consumers that we are connecting through My Choice, and we're learning more and more about how they want to interact and connect with UPS. So the next key takeaway for you when you think about this is thinking about your consumers as the ones that define the experience and making sure that you continue to innovate and create solutions and ideas that will help you remain relevant. Then let's talk about evolving technologies. Don't need to spend much time on this picture. I'm sure you've seen it before. Technology is changing at very rapid paces today. As a CIO, I tell people usually ask me, hey, Juan, what are the things that keep you up at night? And I usually say 3 things. The first one is information security. I cannot give a presentation and just walk away without telling you that that is top priority for me as a CIO. The second one is making sure that we have the right talent, the right skills and capabilities in UPS IT and UPS engineering to be able to support your needs. And the third one is how do we keep up with this rapid change in technology in a way that we can apply those technologies to support our customers' needs. The good news is that, of course, information security is priority number 1. The next one is that we're very active recruiting great talent that continues to come into our company to support the build-out of the next generation of UPS technologies. And the last one is that, of course, we're making investments in advanced technologies. To this extent, we formed what we call the Advanced Technology Group at UPS. I'll tell you more about that in a second. But that group is actively looking at all the different things that you see on this slide. From determining how we can use artificial intelligence to provide improved customer experiences, to taking advantage of autonomous vehicles where we can and where it makes sense, to spending time and effort, and I'm really excited about the things that we see here in MODEX every year, robotics that can help us solve some of the material handling problems that are becoming more critical for us to solve. We're using virtual reality for the first time ever to train UPS drivers. Think about that. We now immerse UPS drivers in environments that we could not really simulate in the past, environments that allow us to train them how to react to all kinds of safety situations as they complete deliveries for UPS. And of course, we've been a proponent of the Internet of Things for many years. As we see developments in smart cities, we believe that the Internet of Things is going to continue to play a key role in supporting some of our business needs. And by the way, one of the key things that we continue to do is align ourselves with companies that can help us develop all these different technologies. One of the things that always catches my attention, I think about exponential leadership a lot these days. When you think about leadership, it's really easy for us to think about leadership in incremental steps. We're just going to improve year over year by 10%. But in reality, in the world that we live in, we need to make improvements 10 times faster. And we need to get better 10 times better than where we are today. Well, for us to be able to do that, we need to align ourselves with great companies that support some of the things that UPS views in the future as critical to our success. So we've aligned ourselves with Sci-Fi Works in developing drone prototypes to help us with deliveries in certain areas. We've also aligned ourselves with one of the vehicle manufacturers that UPS uses, called Workhorse, that allows us to dispatch drones from UPS package cars as drivers are making deliveries so that we can complement each other. And lastly, we're very closely aligned with Zipline, a company that's done just amazing work in Africa, and they're working very actively in bringing that technology to the US to allow the delivery of critical healthcare merchandise to hard-to-reach areas. So we're working with all of them. But remember, here's the takeaway on this one. As you innovate, as you think about the future, as you continue to disrupt yourself, can't do it alone, need to work with others. And this is, of course, I'm an engineer, so I have to put an equation in front of the audience here. Here's one of my favorite equations. When you have data, and notice what I said, any data, when you combine that data with robust technology, when then you bring innovative engineering to the table, you get just outstanding results. We have seen that at UPS over and over again. Data plus technology plus innovative engineering provides great results. And the best example I can give you of that is Orion. Matt mentioned that when he was introducing me. We're really proud of what Orion is for UPS. It's the on-road integrated optimization and navigation system for UPS. I want you to think about it this way. It's really easy. Before UPS drivers leave the buildings today, this morning, as they're making deliveries throughout, before they leave, we optimize their routes. In other words, we know all packages that are in those particular vehicles, and we know the most efficient order for them to deliver those packages. That reduces miles and makes sure that we deliver all packages by the committed times. We do that 60,000 times every day, as the drivers are leaving the facilities. Orion has helped us, in just the time that we've implemented that technology, save us anywhere between $300 million to $400 million a year, has also allowed us to reduce over 10 million gallons of fuel and over 100,000 metric tons of CO2 emissions through the use of this technology, which, by the way, remember what I said, also helps us make sure that we deliver our packages on time. So that's the technology we've developed up to this point. The message on this one, for me, is that the innovation can't stop with just those results. We believe that there's much more that we can do with this technology. And it's a great example of how existing technologies and solutions can continue to give us that flywheel effect to continue to find additional benefits and solutions that can help the company in many ways. We're now working on the third generation of Orion, which will do two things. One of them is it will incorporate more navigation capabilities into the driver's handheld device, but what it will also do is it will allow us to optimize the routes dynamically. What that means is that as the drivers are on road now, and as they're making deliveries throughout the day, rather than just simply work off that initial optimization that we gave them at the beginning of the day, now we will be optimizing that route continuously throughout the day. It's a pretty interesting computer science and a pretty interesting technology problem, but the benefits are significant to us. We believe that that implementation alone will provide UPS another $150 to $200 million in savings. So excited to see what that's going to do for us later this year, going into 2019. And what we've also had to do is we've had to bridge the physical and the digital at UPS like we've never had to do before. And I would again make the argument that across all of your companies, all of your industries, you're having to do the same. Bridge the digital experiences that your customers are living through with what happens in the physical world. More so in supply chain than it happens in many other industries out there. Think about it from a UPS perspective. I just told you a little while ago that consumers want to have more choice. They want to have more control of their deliveries. What that actually means is that delivering a package to a regular address is not sufficient anymore. We need to be able to accept your inputs, what you want UPS to do, and we need to be able to execute that through the physical, meaning the actual delivery of that work. So what we've done is we've invested heavily in IoT technology. We're investing heavily in smart trailer technology. We're connecting our vehicles more than ever before. We're really wanting to connect more with smart cities around the US and in other parts of the world. And we also want to do more in the way that we get packages delivered to places like access points. And the picture that you see there is a UPS access point is nothing else but a locker that is fully integrated with UPS My Choice, and which allows us to, again, bridge that gap between the digital and the physical. The next big lesson that I think it's important for us to keep in mind as we continue to innovate and we continue to disrupt ourselves is that the future continues to change. And for us, stopping at what we've defined as a strategy from a technology and an engineering perspective today would be foolish. So what we're working on right now is what we call the Smart Logistics Network. And this is just a very basic diagram to show some of the technologies that we're bringing into our Smart Logistics Network to help us improve the way we run our operations and improve the way that we connect with our customers. At the end, that big cloud that you see there with the UPS logo is the key message. That is that we will be managing a smart logistics network that is highly connected, that provides on-time, real-time information to all users across the network, and will allow people to make improved decisions in the way that we manage supply chains. Of course, to be able to do all these things, we've had to change. I would make the argument that if we approached innovation, creativity, disruption, the same way that we were doing it 15 years ago, it'd be very likely that UPS be out of business. So we've had to actually change our approach to innovation. How? We've had to create a culture of innovation in the company, which, by the way, we had a strong one a few years ago, but we've had to continue to modify and improve on that culture. We've had to create the appropriate reward systems, build the right platforms, both on the technology and the business side, become customer-centric as it relates to innovation, have the discipline to support innovation, and lastly, continue to push that strategy over governance. I've seen it before, where governance gets in the way of innovation. Huge mistake. We can't allow that to happen if we want to continue to disrupt and change the way we do business. So let's talk about culture and structure for a few moments here. This is UPS's view of innovation and our own innovation imperatives. I'm going to talk about culture first. Think about these companies. Google asks its employees to spend 20% of their time thinking about the future. Amazon, we've all heard about this. Amazon pushes for this day one mentality. Always think as a startup company, one that is having to remain in business as if you just started today. The last one there is the UPS view. And the way that I listed it there is the founder's mentality. It's another key takeaway that I wanted to share with you. This has worked for UPS really, really well for many years. Our founder, Jim Casey, who was truly a visionary, used to say time and time again that we needed to be constructively dissatisfied. Constructively dissatisfied. And that message for me as a long-term UPSer has resonated so well, because if we didn't have that constructive dissatisfaction, we wouldn't be the company we are today. So of course, we have a great history of innovation. It'd be really easy for us to say we've been very successful. We're close to a $70 billion company. We're in 220 countries and territories around the world. I gave you all those statistics at the beginning. And say that we are just okay. But here's the reality. Today, 2 kids in a basement have more access to infrastructure than all UPS with the $1.5 billion that we spend in technology every single day. It's reality. Today, we have customers of ours who we love, but that are also slowly penetrating into our domain. And if we don't watch it closely, can truly disrupt the way we do business. Today, by the way, we have great competitors that continue to make us better in absolutely everything we do. We got to watch them too. But instead of thinking about all that, the key is to constantly be thinking about how we disrupt ourselves to continue to support you, our customers. So when it comes to culture, here are a few things to keep in mind. We want to make sure that our people, the people who work at UPS supporting those projects that will make a difference in time, are given the authority for innovation. In other words, they're empowered. They're empowered to decide, and they're also empowered to fail. The next one is we want to give people in our companies the autonomy, the freedom to get things done. Work outside the normal corporate structures. Go from just simply working as individuals to collaborating teams. And the last one, for UPS, this is very important, and it's one that I remind people of all the time. When it comes to innovation, there has to be action. At the end, innovation just for innovation's sake is a failure. Got to keep looking for ways to get things out of innovation within our companies. Let's talk about structure for a few minutes. When it comes to structure, we think about structure and innovation at UPS in 3 key areas. The first one is people. We also think about the processes we implement within the company to support innovation. And of course, what types of programs are you building and creating to support innovation within the company? Let's talk about people. From a people standpoint, and I love this statement, free your geniuses. In a company like UPS, with over 440,000 people, we have so many geniuses out there. And by the way, it's important to keep this in mind. The innovation doesn't come all the time from the folks that are sitting in corporate thinking about the future or the next round of iterations in terms of how we can improve our technologies and solutions. The best ideas, many times, come from those drivers that are making deliveries to your homes every single day. So get close to them. To this date, as a CIO, I still find time to go and spend time with our supervisors, with our drivers who are using our technology. And I will tell you, if you want some really honest feedback as to how the technology is working, that's who you need to go speak with. Not all the people that report to me, because for them, everything is great. But on the other hand, for the people who are using the technology day in and day out, critical to listen to what they have to say. But at the end, free your geniuses. Create mechanisms for them to share their ideas and their thoughts to build better solutions. The next one for us is to have good, solid processes. This one is one of my favorite ones. It's what we call the UPS innovation cycle. In that cycle, we use technology, operational technology, to create new products and services. Those new products and services drive additional ideas to improve our operations. And we're constantly using that feedback mechanism for us to improve the technologies we use and the solutions we build in the company. Technology not only supports operational improvements in UPS, it's technology that we use to support what our customers are looking for. And lastly, implement solid programs. Programs within engineering and technology, advanced expertise where it's needed, and let's make sure that there are missions well-defined that tell people where we want them to innovate. Remember again, innovation for the sake of innovation doesn't really provide the types of results that a company like UPS is ultimately looking for. The Advanced Technology Group at UPS is really a great example of how we have enabled a small group of UPS professionals to develop great solutions in robotics, develop great solutions in the area of smart packages, develop also great solutions and ideas on how we can better manage the overall UPS network, making significant network enhancements across the board. And what you see there, create good programs, programs that make it fun for people to come together to find solutions and innovate across the board. And we have a number of those. By the way, the one lesson that I have learned is that there's not one program that should remain constant forever. The young professionals that we have working in many of these programs tend to get bored quickly, and they want to actually work on the next big thing or the next big program. And what I've also learned is that when you give them the freedom to actually create their own programs, the results are just amazing. So we plan on continuing to doing that moving forward. So again, remember, culture plus structure brings a great mechanism for innovation. And for UPS, that innovation is going to continue to be shown in the Smart Logistics Network. So now this chart here basically puts it all together. We have innovation initiators at the top, enhanced mobility, empowered consumers, and evolving technology. Then remember the innovation imperatives. There's culture on one side, and there's structure on the next one. At the end, that structure, that culture makes all the difference in building the great next set of technologies, the best next solutions for UPS. How do you create a culture of innovation and combine it with a structure where things ultimately really happen? Now, that innovation is also extending into areas that are becoming more and more critical for UPS. Remember what I said earlier, 19 million packages a day. Here soon, those 19 million packages will become 34 million packages a day. We need capacity to be able to do this the right way for you, our customers. And how do we create that capacity? We build it. So the building that you see there, we're really proud of this facility. This is the Atlanta regional hub that it's being built right now, not too far from here. It's a facility that is going to process over 100,000 packages per hour, 1.2 million square feet, 15 miles of conveyors. But here's the key. We're using this facility as well to keep trying and testing new technologies that can help UPS do better, run more effectively. So what we do is part of our innovation cycle. As new technologies, and we'll see a number of those here in MODEX, as new technologies evolve, as our partners share with us new technologies, we bring them into facilities like this one so that we can continue to improve the way we run UPS. And not only that, we're also in this building, we'll have over 280 UPS package cars dispatched out of that facility, and we're making this building also an alternative fuel facility. where we will have compressed natural gas islands available for our drivers to fuel their vehicles and make the facility also a highly sustainable facility. All this comes as a result of great innovation at UPS. Once again, that culture and that structure coming together to build facilities and capabilities like this. Now, our innovation is making a difference in a number of areas. There's one that obviously we need to continue to do more. And this is not just UPS, it's any company that it's in the business of delivering anything. Making sure that we use innovation to address some of the biggest challenges we have in our cities today. Of course, congestion, for me personally and for my partners at UPS, is one of those big issues that requires solutions, smart solutions with great innovation. So to do that, we're partnering with a number of companies that are actually helping us come up with some innovative ideas, not only in terms of alternative fuels, but also in terms of technologies and solutions that we can use to actually address that. Making sure that we have solutions to support deliveries in dense urban locations. Those solutions will include consolidation of work. Those solutions will include the use of technologies like Orion, as I mentioned to you. Those solutions will always, require us to think about how we make deliveries in those areas more efficiently, reducing emissions, making UPS perform better. And of course, we'll continue to make significant investments in alternative fuel vehicles. Here's our commitment. By the year 2020, 1 out of every 4 vehicles that UPS purchases will be an alternative vehicle. And we're on our way. As I said before, over 9,000 alternative fuel vehicles. We have that responsibility in supply chain, continue to make sure that we're sustainable. And of course, we believe that engagement with cities like Atlanta, engagement with cities like Seattle, we have a number of other partners, where we can actually contribute to the ideas, the solutions to solve the problems related to congestion will be critical moving forward. So we're all in, we're participating, and of course, innovative technologies will have a lot to do in the way that we solve these problems moving forward. And one of those innovative solutions is the e-trike that I show in this particular picture. Really pleased with what this is actually doing for UPS. I think it can do much more. We're pushing this hard. We're right now in 3 cities in the US. We are in Fort Lauderdale. We are in Pittsburgh. There's one more. We're in Toronto, Canada. And we're also in a number of cities in Europe. Now, the idea is not just simply to dispatch these vehicles out of the UPS buildings and have them drive on freeways to get to the delivery areas. The idea is really simple. We would be sending mother trucks with pre-loaded smaller containers that can be taken off those mother trucks, be placed on those e-trikes, and be able to use those e-trikes to deliver in those highly congested areas. So the initial tests are promising. We're excited about what this technology can do for us. We'll continue to make investments in supporting this. And I already mentioned my choice before. Through my choice, I see it also as a mechanism to manage your personal supply chains, which ultimately helps us create density. Densification, when it comes to deliveries in these types of metropolitan areas, it's very critical for us to be able to solve the problem. So lastly, and I'll wrap it up with just a couple of last points. The first one is just 3 things to remember when it comes to, call it UPS innovation, but just think about it in terms of innovation in general. The first one, we're all technology companies, and we will continue to bridge the physical and the virtual worlds. We'll have to do that. The next one is that we got to hit that innovation trifecta, and there has to be commitment from each and every one of us to support innovation in our companies. Now, innovation, we believe it needs to provide new value. It has to allow us to create global and new capabilities. It has to allow us to build and increase our overall operational efficiency. And the last point is that, you hear this all the time. There are so many books written today about disruption and the need to disrupt ourselves. I will tell you that for UPS, you can read all those books. For us, it's real. And for us, we need to continue to disrupt ourselves to remain relevant and competitive in a highly competitive space. If we do not disrupt ourselves as a company, I ask myself, I ask my partners in the business, who will? We don't want others to disrupt us. you can ask that same question about your companies, about yourselves. And to wrap it up, one thing I will tell you is that disruption is messy. Innovation is messy. Creativity doesn't come in a book that you can just follow step by step and get to the outcomes that you expect. So we tell our IT professionals and our engineering professionals time and time again that we do recognize that there will be some failures along the way. We do recognize that we need to learn from those failures as we go, that we need to remain connected with our users, our customers, as well as our UPS users, drivers, loaders, sorters, supervisors, to ultimately be able to bring to you, our customers, the next generation of solutions in supply chain that will make you better at absolutely everything you do. So with that, I want to thank you for having me here today. Hopefully you got a few key points related to innovation and creativity, and you can see how we do it the UPS way. Thank you. Thank you, Matt.